Okay, so this video will take you through a few examples of factorising harder quadratics, of the ones of the type where you've not got 1 in front of as the coefficient of x squared, it's a number that's bigger than 1. Okay, so some of these questions, sometimes you can spot maybe what the answer will be. Okay, so for example, because my x squared term is 3x squared, I know that only 3x multiplied by x is going to get me 3x squared, so I know what's going to go in the front of my brackets. The two numbers left over, I'm going to have to multiply together to give me -2. Alright, so I've only got -1 and 2, or -2 and 1. Okay, they're the only ones that I can have. Whatever number goes there is going to be multiplied by 3x, and whatever number goes there is going to be multiplied by the x. So if I think about expanding that bracket, these two values I get would have to add together to give me 5x. Okay, so you might spot that actually this one's not too bad. If I put a -1 in there and a +2 there, and when I was to expand that, I would get 3x squared times 2x, which is 6x, -1 times x, which is -x. So I combine them together, it would give me my plus 5x. Okay, but that's not always really straightforward. Sometimes they can be a little bit more awkward. If, for example, you got 6x squared, then you could be looking at 6x and x, or 3x and 2x. If the last number had a lot of factors to it, so if it was like a -12 or something, you've got so many combinations of numbers that if you don't spot that straight away, then they can become quite awkward to do. So what I want to do in this video is just show you that little trick we looked at GCSE to be able to factorise these nice and easily. Okay, so the first thing you do, if you remember, is take that 3 and the -2 and you multiply them together to get -6. Okay, and then what we look at is all the factor pairs, or we think of the factor pairs of -6. So I've got 1 and -6, 2 and -3, or I could have the other way around, -1 and 6, or -2 and 3. And I want to pick a pair that would add together to give me that 5x. So if I pick, what's it going to be, -1 and 6, and I basically, once I've identified the two numbers that will add together to give me that middle term, if you remember, we just expand that middle term to make our quadratic look a little bit more complicated. So we'd have 3x squared minus x plus 6x minus 2. Okay, and the idea is we factorise that bit there and we factorise that bit there separately. Okay, so we're going to have x brackets 3x minus 1 there. Now you're going to get a repeated factor if this works, so you know straight away that that will factorise and give me a 3x minus 1, otherwise the trick doesn't work. So now I can just compare what do I multiply 3x by to get to 6x, so I know that's going to be a positive 2. And if we factorise that again, now this time my common factor for the both of them is the 3x minus 1. So I'll take the 3x minus 1 out first, and then if I divide that first term by 3x minus 1, I'm left with x. And if I divide that second one by 3x minus 1, I'm left with the 2. So there's another way of getting the same answer. Obviously with this one, if you spot it straight away, this method takes longer, and you might not want to do it. If you've got a harder one to do, then it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so let's just look at a slightly tougher one. So let's look at 6x squared plus x minus 12. Okay, so again, if I was going to factorise that into the two double brackets, I could, I could have a 3x there, and a 2x there, or I could have a 6x there and an x there. That's a negative, so I'd have a plus and a minus, or sorry, a plus and a minus, or I could have minus there and a plus there. factors of 12. I could have a 3 and a 4, or a 2 and a 6, or a 1 and a 12. There's so many different combinations. If you don't spot it straight away, that could be an absolute nightmare. Alright, so we use that little trick, and it's over done with in a few steps. So I'll start off with 6 times negative 12. That's going to give me negative 72. Okay, now I'm going to be looking for factors that will add together and give me 1. So I'm looking for numbers that have got a gap of 1 between them. Okay, so if you think 72, that would be 9 and 8 gives me 72. Okay, I want to add them together, so I've got a positive 1, so I'm splitting up that plus x. So if I use 9 and negative 8, that will give me like 6x squared plus 9x minus 8x minus 12. So 9x minus 8x would give me that x. Okay, so now I just factorize the first two terms, so I can take out 3x. That'll leave me with x plus 3 in the middle. I know I'm going to need x plus 3 over here as well, so now I can just compare what I multiply x by to get to minus 8x. So I'm going to need minus 8 outside that bracket. Then I factorize it again, so take the x plus 3 out, and I'm left with 3x minus 8 inside my bracket. Nicely done. Okay, that's it. Alright, so it's a trick worth knowing to use. Okay, because you can speed things up. Okay, off you go then. That should help you through exercise 1, just in case you want to have a few examples to look at to help you with those questions.